go ahead and talk some meta here real quick and get into our unlocks. As far as the meta goes for this past season, which would have been March of 2025, discard made a big comeback.
Okay.
I already talked about previously how it was instant retreat whenever I seen Agamotto. Whenever he showed up, I wasn't even going to mess around because Winds of Watum are going to get me. I'm scared of him, so I'm not playing him. I did get just under the wire on high voltage, and yes, the pun is intended there. I woke up at 5:45 one morning, and I'm like, okay, how much time do I got left? I got plenty of time, right? And I'm like, oh, I've only got 7 hours left, and that's about the middle of my day. I'm not going to be able to play while I'm working. So I had to start, like, okay, I've got to grind. I had just enough. I think I had to get 1,000 and something, and the stuff was going to reset. Usually I think it reset at 7 in the morning. But anyway, I started playing, knocking these things out, and finally was able to get to the big prize, to get the first Ghost Rider. I did not want to be left behind. So I got the first Ghost Rider. And high voltage, I don't know what was different about this season, but it didn't seem as fun. I really hate to say that because I don't think anything changed. That is actually a reflection on me and my enjoyment of this game, which kind of scares me. But it felt kind of grindish to me a little bit. I think that high voltage is such, you got 3 turns, you can just go at it and then be done with it real quick. So I think that's a huge advantage over things. And I don't know. Something lost its luster this go around, and I don't know what it was. Anyway, that's just me. What was your experience there this season, for the meta this past season?
High voltage did feel a little bit more of a grind to me. I still prefer it to any of the other ones. Maybe I heard somebody say on Reddit, hey, why don't we have this every season? I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe because it hadn't been that long since the last one. And I think somebody said it's coming again this season. And maybe it does need to be a little less frequent. I still enjoyed it. I like the change in strategy, and there's a lot of different ways to go at it. I ended up using a War Machine deck part of the time to mix it up because, the 2 main ones you think of in that are Ebony Maw and Infinite, but I got to thinking like, wait a minute, Crossbones could go wherever he wants. You don't have to be winning there. So yeah, I tried a few others and even put that in the regular mode, tried a War Machine deck again, but that was just something to mix it up. You got different strategies. I mean, there's Wong and guys like that you see a lot. I had a pretty standard deck for that, but you're not locked into Guardians of the Galaxy like in Sanctum Showdown. Still like it, but once I got first Ghost Rider, that was it for me. I didn't have the urge to go back anymore. Yeah,
it was very strange. I don't know what that was all about. Of course, I just made it, so I had to go to work. So
as far as other stuff from the meta, ton of discard, a lot of Agamotto, saw a lot of Firehair too. Just in general, I really liked the cards this season. I got all of them except Agamotto, and they're ones I'm still thinking about. How can I use? I haven't used Starbrand in a little while, but I'm like, okay, wait a minute, 310. There's got to be something I can do with that. How can we make that work? And Eson's a blast. I thought it was a good set of cards that give you some options and some stuff to figure out.
For a brief moment, a small day and a half, it was all Arishem all the time. You were the one that pointed me in that direction, and I know both of us are probably going to have Arishem in our unlocks here. You sent me a message that said, oh, here's the Dan Hipp Arishem, and it will also change all your cards that are created into Dan Hipp variants. And I was like, no way. As soon as you told me that, I went and got the card. I went and got the Dan Hipp variant, and I was like playing, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. This is so much fun. I think I'm bringing this up because I don't think it was just Dan Hipp variants. I had a game where all my cards were panda art, and I was like, oh, so this will just start picking any theme that it wants to at some point. Did you say that, or maybe this is something I saw on Reddit, but this was a feature that they were planning on doing at some point in the future, but somehow there was a bug that released it, and that's why we all had access to it?
The first I heard of it, I saw the Dan Hipp Arishem, and I forget if I got it just because Dan Hipp, or if I saw someone on Reddit say something about it. I think it was Eson that was the dead celestial that the Avengers had their headquarters in. But with the Dan Hipp Arishem, I gave it an ice border, and all the cards it created had the ice border too.
Are you serious?
Apparently, whatever Arishem creates has the same style of card he has.
I really think that is pretty neat. To be honest, that's actually a great idea, in my opinion. If you really wanted to get a card going, and it's kind of like a gift to the people who play to be able to see these other type of cards, these other variants.
I saw cards I didn't know had Dan Hipp variants.
Right, dude?
Now again, that's assuming you're like us and like the Dan Hipp variants. I did find out about the Arishem thing from Reddit, so it's not all complaining, but a lot of times it's like, oh, I got another Hipp variant. I got another Pixel variant. Why do they hate me? Why are they running I don't know. I'm the same way with chibi variants. I don't know why anybody would want them. It's just not my thing. But that's okay. Different strokes for different folks.
I wonder if they would have called them Funko Pop variants. Would you feel any different?
Maybe, but the Coulson one's still weird. I don't have a problem with the term chibi. Kurt Busiek had a hero called American Chibi in Astro City. It's just like someone turned into a chibi. There was a chibi Wolverine in one of the Exiles relaunches that has a pretty cool HeroClix figure. If you KO it, you get to roll a die, and if you get like a 4, 5, or a 6, he comes back. You just keep sending him in to get killed, and then come right back in. I'm not opposed to the concept of chibis in general. I just don't like a lot of the chibi variants.
Doesn't like the way they look.
The hood. I'm looking at the hood chibi variant right now and wondering why. Like that's what I want. My brother got me playing that Pokemon game where you can trade cards and stuff. That's what I want. I want to trade all my chibis to someone who will appreciate them and take their neglected, hated Pixels and Hipp variants.
All right, we'll get into unlocks here. All right, so currently, as of like an hour or so ago, I'm sitting at a collector level of 17,152. I've got 5 spotlight keys. I just got one right before I got on here. So I had 7 last season. I'm down to 5 now. Unlocks are as such. Dan Hipp Arishem. Number 1. Nebula. That was my first time getting Nebula. I got Nebula by unlocking a cache. I didn't use a spotlight key or spend any tokens on her. I ended up getting her straight out of a cache, if I remember correctly. I got a Jamie McKelvey Gambit, which is, you may have seen it, Gambit's face, cards. He's got the glasses. And
that's from All New X Factor.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Peter David, a company called Serval Industries, which I've been thinking about a lot lately since there was a Serval cat running around in our county.
Right. It's so funny because when I saw that, I was like, several cats. I'm like, I don't care if there's several cats. Why is this making the news?
That's not news. So, yeah, this company, Serval Industries, bought the rights to X Factor, and it was like Polaris, Gambit, Cypher, Warlock, and Danger, the Sentient Danger Room, and somebody else. I forget who. But that was the team. It only lasted like 18 issues, and then out of nowhere, Peter David tied it in with his Spider-Man 2099 stuff from 20-some years prior. That's where that Gambit comes from.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Very good. Dan Hipp Lady Deathstrike. Then I got a Dan Hipp Hellcow. I got an Invar Studio Copycat, which I assume was this. We're getting into some keys here. So I feel like the Copycat was one of the keys because I got Fire Hair the next one. Then I have wait a second. I'm sorry. Maybe Invar Studio Copycat is not that because I got a Fire Hair, a John Lamb Nico, and then that card, it doesn't matter really. Cassandra Nova.
Oh, you didn't have Cassandra Nova?
I did not, Evan. Believe it or not.
No, I remember I messaged you. I'm like, Jesse, she's in the spotlight. Go to her.
Yes, I immediately got Cassandra Nova. Then I got a Baby Groot, a Giulio Rincione Vulture, a Dan Hipp Miss Marvel, a Pixel Ebony Maw, which looks really cool. I like that. Scorn, Khonshu, Marco Fiala, Ironheart. That's the one from High Voltage. Did you get any negative space variants yet?
I did not. They looked cool, but I had blown all my gold on. Once again, I missed Art Germ Jean Grey by like 50 gold, but Art Germ Emma Frost popped up, and I got that and got a spotlight key.
Okay. Negative Space Magneto. It's pretty cool looking. Did you see any of the Reddit posts of some of the crazy way these things look when they get all flared out?
Oh, no.
They're wild. They don't look good, I'll tell you that much. Somebody posted a Negative Space Iron Man that had a frosted glass background. So all of Iron Man is just frosted glass. It just looks messed up.
No, I just can't wait until I can see a banana Iron Man. Yeah, once again, we went through the meta and didn't talk about character mask. Some people hate it. I don't think it's all terrible. I've got a few decks that have, my favorite are the multicolored rays. I've got a deck that has the green rays, a deck that has the red rays. But I don't know who was like, you know what the most common background should be? Bananas.
It was so funny when they started rolling out the promotional whatever for that. And it seemed like I was like, oh, look at that. It's Hitmonkey and he's got bananas. And I was like, I didn't realize we were going to get bananas for every single one of these cards. That's the only one that fits is Hitmonkey. You better do some monkey variants pretty soon.
I think I put a banana background on a spider ham, even if I got rid of that. I like that if you want to have Pirate Kingpin with a banana background or the most deadly serious, like one of those photorealistic nulls with a banana background, I like that it's an option if you're committed to the bit. But the very first card that I split after Mastery became a thing, the very first card I split, can you see it? You can't see it. It's Gamora with the black and white ray background and bananas floating in the air. And I'm like, look, if you're like, dude, I just want all my serious characters to have bananas. Okay, great. But the fact that, like, that's not an option, it's like, look, this is a card you have now. Like, why?
Yep. I don't want it.
Like I said, I like that it's an option, but what I want is to get all my Atlantis characters, not that I always put them in the same deck, but I want my Atlantis characters to have the water background and the bubbles flare. And that, you can't do that. There's only one or two, but everybody who's ever been in the Weapon X project have bananas coming out the yin yang. Like, just don't make the bananas the easiest one to get. And I feel like that's what it is.
I agree. I do agree with you.
You know who it would work on? Cersei, because Cersei changes stuff into stuff. So Cersei having bananas float around, that fits with the story, I guess. Okay. Sure. Like I said, I don't mind it being an option. But why is it the most common thing?
I hear you, dude.
You imagine playing somebody and it's like, oh, man, they're all bananas? That's crazy. And instead, it's just like, oh, I didn't have anything else that all 12 of my cards had, so here's friggin' bananas.
Bananas. Yeah, because it's not
Bananas.
Now, when you see somebody lay out, okay, you're playing a deck and they have all ink split. Yeah, I mean that's an achievement. That's an achievement. Bananas, not an achievement, bro. Not an achievement.
It's not appealing.
Oh, he went there, folks. He went there.
Why did the most common have to be a banana split?
He doesn't write them down.
Guys, it's a banana split.
Nobody has said that yet. You made the first one.
I don't like it, but I can totally understand and support, like, wrecking a feature of the game just for the fun.
Just for the
I understand that. Okay. All right.
We will give him some respect for that. All right, fine. All right, and I got two left here. I've got the first Ghost Rider we already talked about, and then right before I got on here, you know, every once in a while you get these variants out of the caches, and I ended up getting like I said, I think I got three. Well, actually, I got two. The Magneto one, the negative space Magneto one, I'm pretty sure came out of when they did the whatever the event is where you checked in. So, you know, you get one of the rare cards or whatever.
Yeah.
But I got an ADIA Martyr. So it opened up an album for me. It got me to the third thing on an album for me in the Pantheon album.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how ADIA is, you know, I don't know how they're in affiliation with Pantheon. But anyway, so there you go. That's all of my unlocks. Evan Bevins, you have the floor, sir.
Well, let's see. I started off with the James Ryman Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
That was the Spotlight cache. I got that before I got Eson. Sorry, I'm also taking a picture to show you a couple of my thematic decks. Then I got Eson, like we had talked about earlier. Where's my list here? So then I got the Doom 2099 variant that looks like comic book Doom 2099.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Marvel Rivals was cool, but that's the one I wanted. So, yeah, I grabbed that one instantly. Got a Julio Rincione Giganto. Okay. I got the prize of Jim Lee Bishop, which unlocked the Jim Lee Deadpool for me.
You got quite a few Jim Lee cards then.
Yeah, Horseman of Salvation Omega Red, which makes me want to find out who the other two Horsemen of Salvation are. I know that there's Omega Red and Blob. Want to find the other two. Got a Salvador LaRocca Iron Man. I remember that comic. It would be cool if I didn't already have the Mark Silvestri Iron Man and the Dan Hipp Iron Man. It is cool. Got the Dan Hipp. Did manage to go through Sanctum Sanctorum enough to get a random Series 4 or 5 card, and that was Cull Obsidian. Although I still think they should call him Black Dwarf, which is his name in the comics.
You said Sanctum Sanctorum?
Sanctum Sanctorum had a thing where you could get a Series 4 or 5 card that you didn't own already. After I got all the Sanctum cards, I went through and got just enough to unlock Cull Obsidian.
Is this Sanctum Showdown or Sanctum Sanctorum?
Sanctum Showdown. My bad.
Okay. No, I had a feeling I knew what
Guardians of the Galaxy Showdown.
Were they? Oh, yeah. There you go. That didn't continue this season, did it?
It was 1 week last season and 1 week this season.
I was sitting here thinking, after High Voltage started, and maybe you saw this too, that it kept like advertising Sanctum Showdown.
Yep.
And I'm like, that isn't still going on, right? I never even looked into it to see if it was.
It kept going for a week into this season.
I got you.
See, I got the Jamal Campbell Shuri, which is pretty cool. Kind of looks painted like a more realistic Shuri. Luca Claretti, Luke Cage. Pixel Nebula, but with a Dan Hipp Nebula, and I still would like to get the Food Fight Nebula. There's just not going to be any room for any other Nebula variants. Got Starbrand, got a baby Captain Marvel. I also got Cassandra Nova out of the Spotlight cache, but it was the Stefano Simeone variant. Got Firehair, got the Dan Hipp Zabu, the Food Fight Dracula, where he's got a blood bag to suck on.
Nice.
An Ink Pulp Green Goblin. Got the Art Germ White Queen to get me to 6 in that album and get the Spotlight key. I'm at 21,108 collector level. I have no Spotlight keys. I blew all 3 of them today.
Ooh, wow.
I wanted to get Cersei and Goliath, and I got Cersei and Goliath and 2,000 tokens because I got Firehair. The Marco Alfonso Juggernaut, where he's kind of tricked out with machinery. It almost looks like a steampunk kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
Variant. Nicholas Silver Samurai, who I used a lot in my deck. The next card I got Khonshu. Yeah. Got a Pixel Valkyrie, which I didn't even know existed, but I love Valkyrie and I love pixels. Ironheart, Marco Fiala, the high voltage one. First Ghost Rider, got a 1602 Kingpin.
Yeah.
Walk Like a Pirate Day.
Heck yeah.
A Lucas Wernick Dazzler, where she's in the disco outfit, and a Steampunk Quake.
Ah, yes, the Steampunk Quake. That's a good one right there. How did things fare as far as getting to Infinite? No Infinite this season?
I didn't even get to 90. A friend of mine said he's satisfied with getting to 90 and getting that 500 gold, but I got to 80 something and then I got beat all the way back down to 68. What got me back to 80 the last couple of days was my deck. I don't remember what I originally called it, but I have now entitled it I Think I'm a Clone Now, which is my Bullseye, Dakin, and Arnim Zola deck. I forget who I took out, but I put Arnim Zola's old friend, bosom buddy, ideological and mental equal Black Panther.
Yes.
So that if I can't pull off the Dakin Arnim Zola Bullseye combo, I can, Arnim Zola Black Panther is a pretty decent compromise.
Yeah, you can't complain about that.
So that got me some consistency and got me back up to 80. Played a lot of different things, had fun with it, but there was only one other deck that really was consistent. I might have been Cap Doom. Can't remember. But it was Body Slab by No Fun. I brought that back.
I was definitely instituting some No Fun decks every once in a while. I was getting upset. It's like my revenge deck.
I did steal, somebody on Reddit shared, I think it was a move deck with Taskmaster. It was a bounce move deck where you use Beast or Falcon to toss Human Torch back up in your hand once you build him way up, then play him, then play Taskmaster.
Okay.
There were 2 cards they had. One of them was Frigga, and that might have been it. Have Frigga copy the torch. One of them was Frigga, and there was another card I didn't have. So I put Kyra in there to protect Taskmaster and Human Torch, and then put Spider-Man 2099 in there because you had Madam Web in there and some other move cards. So he's a good one. Plus, I got that one. I think it was the last high voltage second to last prize, the Ken Lashley Spider-Man 2099. And then I got a neon pink 2099 frame, like a Tokyo 2099
Oh, yeah,
frame.
the Tokyo 2099 frame. Yeah, that was going on him. I think that was my plan.
I was going to put it on Doom, but once I checked it out on there, I was like, nah, it fits too well on Miguel.
Right.
Didn't sniff Infinite, didn't even get close to 90. But I had fun. The cards were a blast. I'm hoping Agamotto pops up. Every time I'm not getting the season pass card, it jumps right into my token shop. But today the season changed over, and I'm like, Athena. who I had almost convinced myself to get, but it was between her and Iron Patriot. And then I'm like, I got to try this Agamotto thing.
All right.
The shirt variant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our discussion on the meta and the unlocks. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.